Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Now today, Tuesday, August 8th, is the 10th anniversary of the Safe Sport Day. This is an initiative that seeks to eliminate all forms of violence, abuse and harassment against athletes. And so joining us this morning to talk more about it, we have UNICEF student journalists Monifa Monderoy and Joash Webb. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Lovely to have you here as well. I will remember when I was a young journalist coming up as well. So it feels very, very nice to have you sit in front of me. So Safe Sport Day is the 10th anniversary. First of all, tell us exactly what is that day. And I'm coming to you first, Monifa.
So today, being Safe Sport Day, the 8th of August, we want to focus on the athletes in the Commonwealth Games. Thankfully, the games are the day is able to fall within the games, and we are able to go around to different athletes and make sure that they are aware of their rights that they have as child athletes, and that they are safe in their environment they train in, and that they know that they have a right to speak out if they don't like something and things like this. And there's impact labs within the games that the UNICEF UK has put in place, and they're able to learn, if they haven't known about it before, that they're able to learn about their rights, and they have this knowledge and understanding to be able to say these kind of things that they don't want, or certain things like that.
Yeah. Joash, tell us about the significance of the day, because we're talking about youth athletes. Monifa mentioned it's falling within Commonwealth Youth Games, so perfect opportunity to see that at play. So tell us about the significance of it.
Yes, I'm glad you actually highlighted the fact that it is falling in line with Commonwealth Games, because that is something that we didn't plan something like that, but we are grateful that it is actually falling, and we are happy because safeguarding in sport and World Safe Sport Day is something that needs to be highlighted even more, because athletes need to know what are their rights, and they need to know. The more we make things aware, the more they would feel safe, and the more they would know how to act in situations when there are events.
Yeah, I love the sense of activism even at a young age, and so I have to ask, how did you get involved in this initiative?
Okay, well, as a student in university, I did communication courses, and one of my tutors actually put me on to the head of safeguarding in Trinbago 2023, and he reached out to me based on my passion for sports and journalism. He saw it as a great initiative, and I'm really glad that UNICEF had something like this that I could be a part of.
I love it. Moni, for you, I mean, how did you get involved in this?
I mean, it was basically the same process.
Yeah.
My advisor at CUSTAT reached out to me and explained what was going on, and then the head of safeguarding for Trinbago 2023 reached out to me as well. He said, okay, we're going to put you on to the certain people in the UK who's organizing everything. And from there we had meetings on Teams, and everything was coordinated. We did online training, so we're certified. So we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we were able to work with everything going on together.
Tell us about your involvement, because Joash mentioned that sort of raising level of awareness and activism. Is it only activism, or do you do much more?
We don't want to come off as activists to the youths, because we know it's still kids. So we try to make it as fun as possible. We ask them light questions as well as the safeguarding questions, just to ensure that they know what's going on with them. We tend to do things like this or that with it. We ask them about, like, what's their favorite meal, and we have a very interactive time with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the responses you've been seeing thus far, and anyone can take this question.
Okay, we're getting a mix of responses, but generally the athletes feel safe in the environment they have, and the trend, one of the trends we actually seen is that the athletes feel particularly safe at the Commonwealth Games Commonwealth Youth Games 2023.
Yes.
And I think it's because of the many little initiatives in place by UNICEF UK and the organizing committee. For example, the
safeguarding officers that they have in play this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, I believe over 60 in the games this year, which is great to see, because a lot of the youths are saying that they feel particularly safe this year with all the safeguarding officers and all the safety measures that we have going on, and they enjoy and they love to see that. They like to feel safe, and they feel a lot safer than they normally would in a games. It's a big difference, and I'm glad to see that the difference is being acknowledged. And it's just something I want to see go on into continuing events in sport.
Josh?
Might I add, they are also really acknowledging the fact that there are workshops. We are calling it the Impact Labs, and the fact that the athletes are being educated consistently, and there are banners, flyers, different things reminding them of their rights, reminding them of what to do in situations.
Yeah.
They are really grateful for these things, and they can feel the effect and feel safe in the environment they are in.
Because that was going to be my follow-up question. We're talking safety, but are we talking safety in terms of, okay, if I have to walk from one venue to the next, I feel safe, as in no one is going to attack me, or is it safety in terms of I'm free to express myself how I want to? What sort of safety are we looking at?
Both physical, mental, social, and it's different aspects of safety, but more along the lines of their rights and emotional and social, because these are younger athletes, these are youths, and they wouldn't be aware of these things. We want to have everything in place to ensure that even if they're moving from one place to another or speaking with a journalist, for example, we are on the ground. Even though we are aware and trained in safeguarding in sports, that doesn't mean we can go and just interview a youth athlete because that athlete is under 18.
Yes.
We'll still need to get a volunteer who is trained as well to come with us to speak with one of their adults or managers who would also escort us in interviewing that individual.
Yeah. So there's always that level of safety, of being comfortable to be able to express yourself.
Yeah.
Now, how do we move on from the Commonwealth Youth Games and ensure that this is something that is adopted for all games across the world?
I could take sorry. I just, like I said before, the safeguarding officers, I would really like to see that continue, because it's something in place for just their safety and to make sure something as small as, let's say, bullying. So if somebody's being bullied on the field, or somebody feels uncomfortable with another athlete or an adult, or some type of harassment is going on, they have a particular person set that they could go to, and it makes them feel a lot more secure. And they're able to go to that particular person anytime, any day during the event that's taking place. So I'd like to see something go on in continuing sports events. Say the CPL coming up, even though it's adults. It's adults. Even though it's adults, it's something that, we could continue, because even if it's not the team itself, we have the audience and the supporters there who would also like to feel safe.
Yeah, Monifa, I like that you mentioned that, because our culture, especially in TNT, right, we put a mic in front of your face and answer the question, right?
Yeah.
Or, sometimes you get a little bit boisterous, that kind of thing, and people may not feel safe. But it's not necessarily the athletes thinking is an attack, but we kind of gotten accustomed to how, that sort of cultural practice. And so do you think a cultural shift will need to take place for us to adopt this, especially in TNT? Joash, I'm coming to you with this one.
Yes, definitely a cultural shift would be required.
Yeah.
But the more we actually raise awareness, the more we educate people, the more we tell them about what is the best practice, the more we would see that shift taking place. Yeah. So I think the fact that today is
Safe Sports Day.
Safe Sports Day. Yes. This is one of the initiatives we have, and we need to actually celebrate it and not look over a day like today, because it's really special, and we like to really get everyone involved, because it's not just for the athlete, it's not just for the journalists, it's for all stakeholders in sport to ensure that everyone feels safe and have the best environment to participate in sport.
Monifa, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well.
I agree with Joash, honestly, because I believe that's why a day like today is so important, and it's something that's been going on. It's not now started. So I believe something like this is important to be able to let everybody know, okay, safe sport isn't just what you know it to be, so like injury and stuff like that. It's also psychological, emotional safety. Like, you're not just physically in danger, you're also in danger of your emotions and stuff like that. So once you know how to proceed better in safeguarding your emotions and psychological, I believe it's a lot safer.
Yeah. You would have mentioned a training that took place to get to this point. Is it a tedious process? Is it something simple? How is it?
No, it's very simple. We went online, like a lot of things these days are online. So we had an online course. It wasn't long. It's detailed. So we have certain situations, they give us certain situations, and from those situations, we answer questions based on it. We had a quiz at the end, so testing always.
Of course.
And based on your results on the quiz, you got your certification.
Yeah. Joash, you were the one who boasted that you're certified. Tell us about some of the models that were covered.
Okay, so actually, some of the models that were covered had to do with children abuse, child abuse, but that isn't the only thing.
Yes.
But based on the training, we were glad that we were able to cover different topics in safeguarding in sport.
Yeah.
Because actually there are some children who feel unsafe and they are afraid of actually reporting. So one of the things that we highlight is actually having that number to call, something that's easy. And in Trinidad and Tobago, there's the 800-4321 hotline, easy to remember,
Yeah.
800-4321. Just simply having that one number could save someone from being in harm, or well, continuously being in harm.
Yeah.
So like things like that, that was really good.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned that you're on the ground, you're already talking to the athletes, and we mentioned on top, some of the responses that you're getting. Are you seeing different responses based on country? So will TNT give you a different response from another island, or how is that working out? Is it like a general overview in terms of some of the questions that you're asking, whether they feel safe or not?
So far, it's been a general consensus, which is a positive one. They all feel comfortable in their training surroundings, and they feel supported by their coach and their parents and everything. So I'm glad to see that everyone is comfortable regardless of the country, because we've been interviewing different countries like Wales, England. Yeah, it's been an experience. Thankfully, we were able to interview Nikolai Blackman. When
Yes,
he got the
gold medalist. Yes.
And he got another one yesterday, I believe. So I got to interview him. The first goal he won, and that was the first goal for TNT as well, and the first medal overall in the games. So I got to interview him, and he shared on his experience. Even though it's a lot of training, he felt really safe, and he's glad to see the safe sports and stuff like that, and he thinks it's important as well. So coming from TNT, and such a young person in TNT as well, it's very enlightening to see.
Yeah. Joash, I want to hear your thoughts as well. You are on the ground. This is Commonwealth Youth Games. Everybody's watching us. I mean, what sort of experience or even takeaways you're going to get from this experience?
I like your excitement because it's similar to what I feel.
Yes.
Because even yesterday, we were literally in front row. So we got to see these athletes running in front of us. Before we would watch them on TV.
Yes.
And before, we weren't able to interact with them directly. As Munifa said, she got to speak with Nikolai Blackman. Myself as well, I got to interview Nikolai Blackman. But these kind of things is really mind-blowing, because before, as a student, I was preparing for these things. But now I have the opportunity with UNICEF UK and Commonwealth Games. It's mind-blowing. I really appreciate something like this, and I'm glad, and I wish that we can continue doing programs like this to actually incorporate and train students in the right way to improve sport in the future.
So am I sitting before two sports journalists?
Yes.
Well, I'm a sports journalist.
Am I sitting before? Yes, Munifa.
Yes.
So you're thinking that because of this experience, you're going to go into that in the future?
Yes, I don't mind going into sports journalism. One thing that I am really glad to see as well with the Commonwealth Youth Games yesterday as well, we were on the front lines of the track, and one thing I got to see was the historic event of the Paralympics.
Yeah.
And seeing them able to run the race and complete it, and yes, there were ups and downs in the situation, but just being there front row, it was such a historical moment because it was also the first Paralympics in the Commonwealth Youth Games. So it was just amazing, So something like that, it leaves an impression on you. So yes, I believe I would be.
So 10 seconds each, tell us why we should come down to the Commonwealth Youth Games.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, come on. And like everybody else in TNT, we have a lot of support. So come out, support. Everyone is supporting each other. I mean, TNT is supporting other countries that we see running, even though there's no TNT in the race. We're screaming and shouting in the stands. I mean, come on.
Joash, close us off. Tell us.
All right. What I will say is that simply, it's a grand event. It's a historic event, and everyone outside is looking in on Trinidad and Tobago. So as a Trinbagonian, I think it's not something you would like to miss. You have to be there, and when you are there, you would be mind blown, because every single day, in every single event I attend, I am mindful. So basically, if you're missing it, I'm sorry for you.
And that is where we're going to leave it this morning. Monifa, Joash, thank you so much for joining us this morning. All the best with the rest of the games. And I look forward to see what your future holds. It's going to be a bright one.
Thank you so much, God.
And that was UNICEF student journalist Monifa Monderoy and also Joash Webb telling you why you should come down to the Commonwealth Youth Games, but not just that, why you should pay attention to the Safe Sports Initiative. Here on the Now Morning Show, we're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.
When the landlord calling you